So we're looking at Bradley Lane, which is the lane that leads to my parents' house in the village of Holt in Wiltshire. The house that they have here is a custom built house that was started in approximately 1993 and finished in 1994. It's a very unusual house in so much as it's built entirely around my father's hobbies. Outside you see here a two-door garage which is used for the storage of motorbikes. And as we pan round more towards the house, you'll see it's a single-storey house with a large loft. The loft has been designed entirely to store motorbikes as well. And in the garage behind the car in the front drive is where he keeps his camper van for trips around the country. And behind that is his mechanical workshop. This is the living room of the bungalow. As you can see, it's quite small. Just panning round here, we can see Mum sitting down reading a magazine next to the Christmas tree. Perhaps you can tell us a little bit about Dad's motorcycling escapades and all his bikes he's bought over the year.
Well, it's been going on a long time. I think the first one arrived when Gary was just in arms. Baby Gary. It's just gone on and more bikes.
So what sort of size did the collection get to at one point?
Well, it was about 30 something at one time. Might have been 36, 38, something like that. But when we sold the old telephone exchange, he had to get rid of some and we just had nowhere to keep them.
And when did Michael start collecting the motorbikes in the first place?
Well, when I said you were a baby.
So that was what, maybe 40 years ago? 45 years ago?
You were just a little in arms when the first one arrived. And we were just going on holiday and I was really chuffed he'd spent his money.
And what was the first motorbike?
I think it was an AJ. He got it in some big house that had a stable block and all the stuff had been put away through the war and never got sort of turned out after the war.
So talk a little bit about having the bungalow built and how the bungalow was built around Dad's hobbies.
Oh yeah. Well, not only did he get enthused with motorbikes, he also got enthused with traction engines. And by the time we came to think about this bungalow, I said to him, I'm not going to have you going out in a shed every night and coming in and putting your cold feet on my body when you go to bed. So I insisted that we had a workshop in the house.
So it was actually your fault then that we have a workshop that's sitting behind the garage?
Yes, it certainly is. But the funny part about it was, by the time we moved into the bungalow, he was getting a bit older and he wasn't sort of working so late at night. So actually the bungalow, it didn't get used in the evening so much. But certainly when he retired it got used quite a lot. We had a built-in garage that we had made for the motorhome in actual bungalow. Then we had another big garage outside. And it still wasn't enough room for the bikes. So we got the builder to put in a special ceiling work so that we could take them upstairs in the bungalow. And there they've been ever since. Some get lots. Oh, and then we had another little garage built on the side of the big garage. And certainly it's been filled quite up. I think he's got now, I don't know, 28 something?
28 at the last count, I think.
Oh, was it? Yeah, 28 now. And I said, no more, no more. So I've said that quite a lot of times when it sort of gets forgotten. But as I say, if you can't beat them, join them.
So this is the workshop in the house that is behind the garage, and as you can see, Dad's in here today doing a little bit of work on a new oil pump that's come in for one of the bikes, and in a few moments I'll get him just to show us around the workshop and some of the major pieces of equipment.
Hello, this is my workshop. My wife said to me, if we get a bungalow, you're going to have a room in the bungalow because you get froze out in that shed every night, and it took till midnight to warm me up. Consequently, you didn't realise you go in at 40 degrees, you come out at 9 o'clock and you're at 32 and you really are froze. So anyhow, this is the workshop. The motorhome garage is in front of this, and we bring stuff through the motorhome garage into this workshop. This is the milling machine. When I joined Avon Rubber in 1958, oh, I did fancy this machine. It was made by E.H. Thompson's of Edgware Road, London, but it was also on the plans of the Sentinel Steam Lorry Company. So of course it had a steam lorry history, and having said that, I was very attracted to it. On the top it says E.H. Jones Sentinel Shrewsbury Limited. So I was very attracted to that bit of equipment. Well, when we moved in here, we got a high-ab crane and a 1-ton forklift truck. Nothing would move this little machine. It actually weighed 2 tons. Big scrabble round. We're on £70 an hour for the machinery that we had on hire. Big scrabble round to find somebody with a 2-ton forklift truck. This is my bench, and as you can see, totally cluttered up. But of course, when my son wants to do something, he don't tell anybody. So, as you can see, this is the state it is. This is a cylinder barrel that just come back 2 days ago. It's been rebored, new piston, and it's for a 172 Super Sports Francis Barnett. So it's new piston. I'm doing the oil pump this morning, and having said that, hope to get it fitted this afternoon. The rest of the bench is typical me. I stack things here and I stack things there, and it's only me who knows where they are. So we'll move on to this little machine. This is a folder, guillotine, and a set of rows. But it also acts as a shelf, in so much as this is on the top. As you can see, the paint, everything else. It's pretty cluttered. This is my shaping machine. Don't use it a lot now because I have a milling machine that's quite quicker. But there we are. I've had this 40 years possibly. So it's an 8-inch shaper. But having said that, don't get moved very much. But it's in the corner. How do you get it out? Very difficult to know. Now we come to my Myford. I purchased this for Andrew and Gary when they were 15 and 13 years old. It's stayed here ever since. Obviously on a lathe like this I do all the small jobs. As a set of collets. I'm not a very good turner, but it survives. So that's our Myford our Myford centre lathe. As you can see, it's a Super 7. I would turn the electric on, that would help over here. There we go. In the corner we have a small pillar drill. That does up to 1/2 inch. So that's a small pillar drill, 1,500 RPM, down to the smallest size. And then we have our Harrison lathe, quite a big lathe. Purchased it from Bath University. They had it up for sale for tender. Having said that, £200, had to borrow it from the bank, didn't have no money. But anyhow, got over that situation. It's been with me now for quite a while. Got a belt broke at the moment on it, so it rattles a little bit, but should be put right shortly. This is the way of getting the loft down. Okay, we press up, the hatch come down, then we have the steps come down, then we put the crook away. Lower the steps. Okay, when the motorbikes come out the loft, they come down through here. Great big aperture there for a set of stairs when I'm gone.
So beyond the hatch for the loft, you'll see the A-frame and block and tackle that is used to lift the bikes from the room below. As you can see at the moment, this space is covered up and used for apple storage, but when you require to bring a bike up into the loft or take a bike down, it can be set up here on the block and tackle. You can remove the cover for the downstairs and lower or raise the bike up into the loft. Space is very much a premium within the loft, and in the background here you can see the block and tackle used for raising the motorbikes into the loft, and on top of the tubing that holds the block and tackle is a whole host of cables for the various motorcycles and renovation jobs that are taking place. These are all things such as brake cables, speedo cables, throttle cables, etc. Many of the parts for the motorcycles are hand painted, and here you can see a number of those parts hanging up to dry.
A little bit of brief history. Really, this is a hobby that went terribly wrong, because I really only started off with one bike, and the maximum we had was 38 bikes. But when I had this bungalow built, I had a special roof put on that would, every 6x4 area, which is approximately twice as wide as this, so out to there, could hold a motorbike. So in effect we could hold 50 motorbikes up here. But I got to 38 and then we had a cash problem, and consequently we're getting down now, the figures are now 28 I think, and when these bikes go over to America it'll be down to 20. So I have a bit more room then, and if Gary on the camera pans round, you can see 1951 BSA Bantam, a 56 Talisman Twin. The Bantam is a green bike, the Talisman Twin is 56. A Gents 1918 push bike there used in the army, showing up green. If we move on round, an Autocycle. Moving the camera around, a ladies loop frame cycle 1930, and then gents bikes. Gary's original bike is in there somewhere. Yes, there it is, the blue and the mauve mud guarded one. An aerial arrow is shown there. Basically this is just almost like a big garage up here. This is a 3T Triumph, that's a twin engine 350 Triumph 1949. This is, by the way, a White Helmets motorbike from the British Army show team. The engine stamped up signals. It was used as a White Helmets motorbike. Eventually it should get done. This is a spare frame for it. This is a 1929 Francis Barnett. It's called the Model 9, a little two-stroke, 1752 two-stroke. Top speed about 45 miles an hour, but it's just a nice, hopefully it'll be just a nice cruising bike round the countryside. As you can see, under restoration. This is a Panther. They made Panthers for hauling sidecars, but they also made some for solo use. And this is a Panther 325 Panther Twin. I've had it 15 or 20 years. This is a Royal Enfield 250 sports bike, drop handlebars, shiny mud guards, does about 60-65 miles an hour. In its time, 1956-57, it was the bike for the youngsters of the day to show off on. Here's an AJS that we bought in 10 years ago. This is getting done up gradually, very gradual. On this side is Gary's old motorcycle. He had it till he was married and gave it back to me. Well, I bought it, so he gave it back to me. This is a Greaves 250 twin, 2-stroke motorcycle. Quite quick. They made very good scrambles bikes. They also made road bikes. I don't ride this, but it's complete. Then there's a Triumph waiting to be rebuilt. Next we see a Talisman twin being rebuilt. This is the second Talisman twin. Engine's been reconditioned, wheels have been done. Gradually I'm getting it back up together. If you can see it where the camera is playing now, it's a 1901 gents tricycle. Mind it has to act as a shelf because there's things resting on the top of it. Quite a number of push bikes moved into the corner. Sunbeam 1921 2-speed. A policeman's bike 1935. This is a Francis Barnett 1935 250 twin port. Had this about, I don't know, 3 or 4 years I suppose. Nearly finished. And then as you can see, this is all spares for either traction engines, which I'm interested in, or motorcycles and motorcycle paraphernalia. Okay.